Hey guys, Jay here, welcome to Eons of Battle. In this video, I want to show you a simple way to pull off awesome marble bases for your Regal miniatures. Here are the paints I'll be using, and a list of materials is in the description below. The first thing I did was I marked out my tiles. I'm using 0.4mm or 0.02 inch plastic card, and I'm making my tiles 3/4 inch squares. You want to be as exact as possible because you want them to sit perfectly flush next to each other. Next, I carefully cut these out using a fresh X-Acto. To get crispy cuts, it's important to make a few light cuts to get through the plastic instead of one heavy gouge. Then I gave the top of my tiles a nice beveled edge by giving it a light sanding with a nail file. I made sure I had enough tiles to cover all my bases, but I'm not gluing them down just yet. The next step is to stick your tiles down for painting. To do this, I'm making a sticky palette by putting down some painter's tape sticky side up. Then I carefully laid down my tiles so that they were as close to one another as possible. The closer they are, the less paint you'll waste. Then I primed the tiles white. I'm using my airbrush, but you could also do this with a rattle can. Next, I mixed myself up some very watered down Fenrisian Grey by Games Workshop. I took a paintbrush and spattered this mixture all over the tiles. Then I did the same process, watering down some Vallejo Stonewall Grey and giving the tiles a spatter coat of this as well. This will help give them a natural stone texture. Next, I watered down some white paint, about 1 part paint to 4 parts water, and began painting on some stripes. I went back and forth in one direction, and working with thin paint in multiple coats is what'll make it look natural and clean. I painted on more white paint to make bolder lines, and once I was happy, I went in with some water and a brush to blend them out. Then to finish off the white, I painted on some thin, bold stripes to start the marble veins. After that, I brought back the Games Workshop Fenrisian Grey, which is a blue gray, and watered it down about 1:1 and began laying down some random thin lines. Then I did the same thing, bringing back the Vallejo Stonewall Grey and watering it down 1:1, and painted on some more thin veins running all in the same direction. This looked pretty good, but it was a little too stark, so I brought back the white and did another pass of bold white strokes and then thinning them down with water. Once this was dry, I sprayed my tiles with a satin varnish, and it was now time to build the bases. Satin is the perfect in-between gloss coat and matte to give a more realistic, smooth finish. I peeled up my tiles and removed them from the tape. Then I superglued them down to my base, making sure to leave no gap in between the tiles. Once they were all on, I went in with my hobby nippers and trimmed them to fit the bases. Once they were roughly cut out, I went in with my trusty hobby knife and carved them flush. The last thing to do was to accent the joint in between the tiles with a little black wash. And there you have 3 marble bases that would look great under the feet of some Adeptus Custodes. We make tutorials like these every single week, and if you like them, you can help us out by supporting us over on Patreon, and you'll get some behind the scenes and exclusive content as well. If you want something fancy, but more heresy, you should check out our Slaneshi Pleasure Palace bases. Find this video and lots more like it on our basing playlist where you'll find tons of unique and simple bases. But that's all for this video, I hope you enjoyed, and as always, thanks for watching.